Hello, everyone. It's Roy Settings here. I want to welcome you all to my YouTube channel, The Four Horsemen. Um, God, this echo to me is just crazy. All right, so welcome to The Four Horsemen. This is your ultimate destination for all things rock and roll, classic rock, and some heavy metal thrown in. We're celebrating the legendary artists, timeless albums, iconic anthems that define generations. We cover the music you love, the stories behind it, and the history that made it happen. I don't know. Uh, would somebody in the chat let me know if I have a loud echo? None of the panelists can hear it.
Nope, I can't.
No.
Okay. All right. I put, okay. I don't know what's going on, guys.
Royce, if
Testing,
you
1, 2,
need
3.
to take it from me, I can speak of this with a bit of authority. Sometimes the best thing to do is just unboot and promise everybody you'll be back, and
Okay.
then just reboot the whole thing, brother.
Okay,
You don't
guys.
want to be
All right.
miserable all night.
I want everybody in the chat to know I've got a loud, obnoxious echo, and so I'm going to step out. I'm going to unboot and then come back in. So please hang with me. Okay.
And don't forget to give us a link when you do get up, brother.
Yeah.
We'll be looking for it.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've been left to our own devices, guys. All right, I'm going to sign off and look for Royce in the wild. I hear
Okay.
there's one or two Royces out there. Maybe we can get the right one.
Yeah, that'd be a
See
nice
ya.
thing.
See you in a bit.
All right, everybody. The link is up. The link is up for the panelists to rejoin. And we got rid of the echo by rebooting. So I'm really excited about that, everybody. Really excited about that. The link is up, folks. Come on, horsemen. Where are you at? Where's my three other horsemen? Link is up. Link is up. Okay, that's ×2. Where are we? Where are we? I see Chris sitting backstage. What happened to Michael and Dan? All right, so we're going to be getting after it just momentarily. All right, come on, guys. I'm back, Dr. Rick. I'm back, brother. Thank you. Joseph Blue. Yes, you did. Okay, there's the link. Come on, come on, come on. Michael, here we go. Here we go. They're coming in. Okay, Dan's backstage. Michael, where are you at? Come on now. Well, I might as well, while I'm waiting for Michael, thank him for the super sticker. Much appreciated, brother. Okay, come on, Michael. Come on. We are all waiting. Okay, well, I'm gonna bring you guys on. I don't know. Maybe Michael's having more problems. Maybe he just thought I was going to be off longer. It doesn't take that long to reboot. I'm back. Okay, everybody. So once again, thank you for joining the Four Horsemen. Now, can everybody hear me okay?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, good. And I have no echo, so I'm totally stoked about that. So anyway, Michael, the link is up. I'll throw it up there one more time. All right. Let's get right into this then. You know, we're talking about Heart, an American rock band formed in 1974. Well, by sisters Ann and Nancy Wilson, but not by themselves. Okay, Heart's core original members include sisters Ann and Nancy Wilson, guitarist Roger Fisher, bassist Steve Wison. These are the four considered the principal founding members, but there are other principal members that include guitarist, keyboardist, and vocalist Howard Leese, and drummer Michael DeRozier. Okay, so the Wilson sisters actually helped blaze the trail into hard rock for women. They were raised in a military family. The sisters were inspired by the Beatles, and I got some little stories about that. And they overcame sexism in the 70s and were inducted to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2013. Heart sold millions of records, okay? It's 17 studio albums. I mean, from the mid to late 70s, bolstered by the singles Magic Man, Barracuda. They staged a comeback in the mid 80s with a pop kind of oriented sound in hits like Three Dreams in 1986 and Alone in 1987. Well, it looks like we've got Michael Nolan here. Let me go down and grab him up. Okay, hold on, everybody. Hold on. Let's get Michael back up here. Hey, Warhorse. Michael? More technical difficulties, folks. Bear with us. Michael's his screen is frozen down there, you know, like the rest of you guys, and I can see us all moving underneath, you know, backstage. Huh?
Said, yeah, he'll be back.
Yeah. Okay. I'll put up another link. Okay, another link is up, and here comes Michael. Hey, Michael.
Hey, buddy.
There.
Well, let me quickly introduce everybody. Okay, directly below me is Michael Nolan, the bottom line. Well, he's my good buddy, like the rest of the panel is, but he's got a huge show. I mean, Michael, how many times did you go this week? 3, 4, 5, or?
Oh, good Lord. I lost track. I've had a lot of videos. I've done, members only videos, a lot of new videos, and of course my regular 2 streams.
And
I've been busy.
2 streams. Yes, you have. Michael's got a great show, everybody. He puts out a lot of content.
Thank you.
And I think that's what most people are looking for, a lot of new stuff. Michael he's got a flood of new stuff, new good stuff coming on all the time. So please check out Michael Nolan, the bottom line, and sub him up. Same with Dan McNew over here next to me, to my right or my left.
Good.
Your left, my right. Anyway, I know. So anyway, hey Dan, how you been? Did you go see Santana last night?
Yeah, I sure did. It was a really good show. Had to drive out.
I saw your message, Dan. I just haven't had a chance to get back to you.
Yeah, it was a good show, but I do have one complaint. We've talked about that before on this show, where musicians bring politics into their show.
Oh, did Santana do that too?
Carlos did it big time.
Oh man, I'd never heard that before about him.
And I don't care if it's on the left or the right. I didn't pay money to hear that. You know,
if
they want to voice their political views, do it on social media. but not at
Yeah,
a
yeah.
concert where I paid good money to see them. You know.
No, that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah. No, that's right.
Well, I
You know,
feel the same way, Dan, and I double it up. Even if I agree with everything out of their mouth, it's
Yeah.
just there's a place and there's a time, and I just want to
Yeah.
rock and roll all night. You know.
Right. That's right.
Yeah, but he played all the hits. He played all the hits last night.
Yeah.
One thing I did notice too, and I think everybody else did. He may have been doing it for a while, but he doesn't stand up a lot. He sits down most of the time when he's playing.
Okay.
And he'll get up and walk to the other side of the stage, and he's got like three chairs he had set up where he could sit down. But
Well, he's had medical conditions in the past.
and
He's had to, stop shows and everything. You know.
Well, and he's really suffered with dehydration on stage and stuff for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
how was his chops though?
Yeah. How
in
was
general?
his chops?
Oh, it's really good. Really good.
Yeah.
You could tell he's in a good mood too, because when the show was over with, the band was still playing, but he goes walking off behind the band, and I didn't realize this, but his wife is the drummer. She's kicked ass.
No, I didn't. I
Wow.
didn't know that. I knew it was a female drummer, but I didn't know it was his wife.
And while he was walking off stage behind her, she's still playing. He gets a towel and tosses it at her, Then he picks up another towel. He picks up another towel and throws it at the guy playing the big drums, the bongos.
Oh, that's so cool.
And he gave out a couple of picks to the audience. He walked up to the edge of the audience, and and someone security would grab the pick, give to whoever he chose. So he did give out picks. So it's
awesome.
all good.
Well, that's cool. Yeah.
Did you get one?
I don't know.
No, I was too far back.
I don't know if you saw my message, but I actually got a ticket to go in May. So I'm going to see Santana in May. That's been a bucket list item for me, and he's had to cancel so many shows and stuff. And I'm never going to forgive myself if I don't make this last effort.
Yeah, I'm just guessing too, because there was a sold out crowd last night. There's a venue called Lucas Oil Live. It's at Windstar Casino, and it probably seats 17,000 people.
Wow.
And I have never seen a merchandise line so long in my life.
Right.
I swear to God, I swear to God, it was a quarter of a mile long.
Oh man! Did you have to remind me about the merchandise? Anyway, yeah. So I'll be going to the House of Blues at the Mandalay Bay in Vegas. So
okay. Yeah, I've been there.
Already bought the ticket. We've got 2 nights there. 2 nights. We're still trying to figure out how we want to get there, but my wife always would rather fly than drive anywhere we go. But anyway, we'll see what happens. So so we're going to get back to the show here. Okay. So.
Oh, what about Chris?
Yeah.
Chris, so sorry, Chris. That's what happens when you get long-winded on these intros. Okay, diagonal from me, diagonal like karate chopping down here, is the one and only Chris Elliott from Canada.
The main star for tonight's entire stream. Does that make up for it, Chris?
Chris is like.
Well, if there wasn't such sarcasm behind it, maybe. Yeah.
No, not a bit of sarcasm, brother. Not a bit of sarcasm.
No, it's not the bit I'm worried about. It's the bigger pile.
Yeah, it's the majority. It's the majority. Hey, Steve Robertson, good to see you, brother. We've got.
I'm doing okay this week.
Okay. Well, anyway, so go ahead, Chris.
Are things mellowing out at home, or at least bearable?
No, it's about the same as last time. It just we're at that. You
so
gotta
sorry
make a decision. And
yeah, we're all sorry to hear that, Chris.
I got a freaking eye infection over the weekend. So.
Oh man, yeah, I had to go to a dermatologist. They burnt all kinds of stuff off me. My face is extra red. I got a big old thing in the corner of my eye that they burnt off. That's going to take time to leave, and then I wound up at the dentist Friday after work. God, this gal took about 40 X-rays, and she didn't really know how to do it right. She'd go clamp down. I would clamp down, and I'd practically jump out of my chair. I just got something sharp pointing into my gums.
Oh, I know.
I don't know why she took so many, but anyway, enough of all that. Anyway, Chris, thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Didn't know what to expect, and look forward to your knowledge and all your good humor, brother. Okay, so here we go. All right. So what I want to do here first, we talked about the members. We talked about the extended family of membership. I'll repeat some of that real quickly, okay? Heart's core original members include the sisters Ann and Nancy Wilson, guitarist Roger Fisher, bassist Steve Fossen. These are the four that are considered the principal founding members. Now, the other principal members include guitarist, keyboardist, vocalist Howard Leese, and drummer Michael DeRozier. Okay, so the Wilson sisters helped blaze the trail into hard rock for women, okay? They were raised in a military family. The sisters were inspired by the Beatles. Of course they were. They had to overcome sexism in the 70s and were inducted in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2013. They sold millions of records from the mid to late 70s, bolstered by singles like Magic Man, Barracuda. They staged a comeback in the mid 80s. Just about lost my screen. That's scary. Okay, with a pop-oriented sound with hits such as These Dreams in 86 and Alone in 87. So let's talk about a few key facts, and then we'll get back over to the panel. I don't like to be far from the panel long. Okay, the Beatles catalyst. I want to talk about that. I mentioned it, but a little more detail. Ann and Nancy cite watching the Beatles on the Ed Sullivan Show in '64 as the moment they knew they wanted to be musicians. After Nancy saw the Beatles on the Ed Sullivan Show, she and Ann became obsessed with the Fab Four. The sisters frequently adopted British accents and performed air guitar-driven shows in the family living room before they became musicians in their own right.
How immature that is.
The first time I dropped the needle on Revolver, it was like being led into a secret backstage door where the recording sessions were going on, Nancy Wilson told Music Web website, actual far out music website. You could feel the air move. You could feel the collective consciousness leading toward new heights of greatness. But as much as she loved Revolver, Michael, Nancy credits Abbey Road for bridging her family's painful generation gap. The Beatles, she told Far Out magazine, had created an open, loving atmosphere. Okay, so let me get my panel back in here. All right, Dan, you're up first, brother. You a fan of Heart?
Oh yeah, I've seen Heart like I think 3 or 4 times in concert. I can't remember exactly, but it seemed like they always played at Texas Jam. It seemed like back in the 70s.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, the one, and that was kind of an odd time for a band like that to come out in the 70s because, you know, in the 70s, people usually had leather jackets and beards and all that, you know, and
right.
Suddenly you get these 2 beautiful women on stage. People weren't used to it, so there was a lot they had to endure as far as I wouldn't say discrimination.
Yeah,
but they were sexualized.
Well, sexism. Yeah. Right.
Especially in the 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they overcame all they overcame all that. It seems like because I read up on the history of Heart, and it seems like they were just kind of up and down. You know, because they had so many things they had to deal with. They had to deal with the music industry itself, inaccurate rumors, well, totally false rumors about them, which were some of them were really pretty bad. And but they always
the old lesbian sister charges. Yeah. I remember those.
That's where the song Barracuda came from.
Yeah. That was also for that, and the way the music industry was, how they had to always fight the industry. And I remember reading something too about where I guess their original label took some of their music and released it without their permission. I think it was a
they had to re-record those tracks and re-release it again to fix that mistake. Yeah.
So they had a lot of things to overcome, and you know, and even with being siblings, you would think siblings would get along because you know you see the Van Halens, the Panteras, they all got along, but not everybody gets along with their siblings. Of course,
not everybody. No.
Yeah.
So they had to deal with sibling issues, industry issues. So they kept overcoming every one of them. You know.
Wow.
So I've always been a big fan of, especially their fight. They like to, you know, their career was very important to them, and they weren't going to just sit back in the corner and cower. you know. So
Right,
yeah, they
right.
kept fighting back, even to this day. With oh yeah, there was also a period too where people were making fun of Ann's weight, the way her weight
Yeah.
was, you know, and
Mhm.
you
That
shouldn't
was
be doing that.
No,
But
no.
but they keep going. So I you know, hats off to them.
Right.
amen.
Well, Eric Schultz says that could have been a good show. Cheap Trick and Heart. Always
Oh
loved
yeah.
Cheap Trick. Right on, Eric. Got our good friend Rockin' Robin Bird here saying hi to Dr. Rick, our other brother from another.
Yeah.
Dr. Rick.
How you doing,
Piccolina.
Doc?
Hi, Piccolina. Good to see you. Chris Elliott in the house. Damn. Groovy Lisa in the house. And then we have Metaphorial Official. Thanks for covering this. Mom made amps with DeRozier. How cool is that? At my G-Pass shop in Edmonds. Wow, right
Ramble
on.
shop.
Thanks for sharing that with us.
Nice.
Johnny Z, Rockin' Robin. Okay, let's okay, so Chris, what's going on?
Yeah, not too much. Just hanging
Okay.
out, living the good life.
Have you seen Heart in concert or?
No, but earlier today, well, yesterday and today, I watched a few biographies. So
Yeah, there
you know
was some
that
stuff.
originally they were Canadian, and then their parents or their father was in the U.S. military. I don't know how that worked, but
Okay.
then they were kind of like army brats for a short time, and then they settled in Seattle.
Yeah.
And then
Right.
then Nancy was with a band that was in, well, she joined a band in Vancouver, Heart, and then they started touring. And then Nancy was invited to come to play guitar with them. And that's kind of where they got started. Their first record was recorded in Vancouver
Yeah.
and
Well,
released first in
they-
Seattle, but it was part
when they joined that band wasn't Heart yet, was it?
yeah,
It was like-
Heart already,
Okay.
but it was just the formings of it. They brought in
Right.
Ann to sing, and that was basically the true start of it, I guess. But
Okay. John's nice. Hey, Michael.
Hey, buddy.
I know you're a fan of Heart.
I'm a fan of Heart. Their first 4 albums.
Oh, okay.
I lost total interest in them after that. Didn't care for them in the 80s at all. Saw a couple of performances that they did for Led Zeppelin at the White House was real good. So they at that point still had their chops down and could still sing.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what did it for me, and I loved the album. But Dog and Butterfly, they brought in another outside writer, and that's when the sisters started kind of taking control of the band and other band members. See, to me, I'm not a fan of Ann and Nancy Wilson so much as I'm a fan of the original, or what, starting off once they got their contract and everything.
Right.
The original band Heart, who just so happened to have 2 hot-looking girls. And guess what, Dan? I'm never going to apologize. I was a big fan. I thought she was hot. Just like all the little girly girls thought Robert Plant's sock was no sock at all. But no, I'm all for, there should be, this is freaking rock and roll. It's got to be some, sex, drugs, rock and roll to kind of make a tale out of it and everything. See what I did there? Tale, females. Anyway, but anyway, I loved them. I as members of Heart, but I didn't see them as being any more talented than the other. What was it? 3 guys. There was another guitar player, keyboard player and drummer, or bass player and drummer at first. Then they brought in a keyboard player later, right? Is that
that's it. That's exactly right, Michael. In fact,
but see, the band was around for 3 years before Ann even joined, and then Nancy joined at the end. And it seems like from that point on, who I forget which member said that he wrote the whole riff to Barracuda. But he gets no songwriting credits. Are you kidding me? And so they've got, they are ultra true rock legends, both sisters. They've taken the limelight. They couldn't help. 2 women, 3 men. Hey, what are you gonna? A lot of sweaty men in the audience. What are they gonna you gravitate to? And I think what amazed people was that Ann was one of the greatest singers in her prime in rock and roll, bar none. And Nancy Wilson slung a damn freaking mean guitar. I would have put her in the Mount Rock Olympus Hall of Fame as a guitarist because of her dual approach from acoustic to electric, and her almost acoustic sounding electric approach is very cool. So despite any criticisms of what the band became after them in the prime, those 4 albums, we only got 5 from the Police. We got 4 from them that are undeniably, each and every one, masterpieces of rock.
Well, I can live with that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's their glory period. I know they have a lot of fans from the 80s, too. They reinvented themselves. By that time, I went, nah, I'm not having it,
Yeah.
Well, I don't
That's
think
not hard.
they reinvented themselves is when they signed with Capitol Records, the whole, welcome my son to the machine. Well, welcome girls to the machine. And then they weren't allowed to write their own music for a while. It was, they got completely taken over by the record.
Is that how that, and wasn't the writer female too, that came in and started writing on Dog and Butterfly? And you can clearly hear, matter of fact, that's their Rubber Soul. It's like they culminated with their Rubber Soul. This was more of a folksy, there were folksy elements as well as rockers that I loved about that album.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, guys, somebody just mentioned the song Barracuda. Now, that song was written out of rage, okay? After a promoter asked Ann how her lover, implying her sister, Nancy, was doing after the concert. Not what she was doing, but how she was doing after the concert. Okay. But overcoming sexism in the 70s, which I mentioned earlier, they were often told to use more makeup, wear revealing clothes. Critics often asked Nancy if the guitar was actually plugged in or just a prop. I think that's kind of hilarious. So, early beginnings before the sisters joined the band, the band existed as an all-male group named Hocus Pocus, which was later renamed Heart.
First White Heart and then Heart.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah, you're right. You're right, Michael. First White Heart. So Ann's powerful vocal range and Nancy's expert acoustic/electric guitar work allowed them to blend hard rock with folk influences. Okay. So as far as now Heart has earned 9 top 10 albums. 9. Okay. It was honored with a Lifetime Achievement Grammy Award in 2023. Of course, 50 years later, Nancy, who turned 71 a couple of years ago, still looks every inch the rock star. Okay. From her fuchsia striped blonde hair, to her over-the-knee platform suede boots in the same shade as her hair that she recently wore on stage at LA's Crypto Arena. So she's still out there being the rock goddess, Though the sisters and thus the band have experienced plenty of heartbreak, and upheaval, Nancy told the Los Angeles Times they're not holding back even after Ann's 2023 brain cancer battle. She and Ann have another sister, Lynn Wilson, 4 years older than Ann, 8 years older than Nancy. Not much is written about the eldest sister, but they talk about it on their Heart Facebook page. Okay. So in the 80s, Heart had emerged from a serious slump to become an arena rock powerhouse. At the same time, Nancy married former Rolling Stone writer and fledgling filmmaker Cameron Crowe, who was on the verge of becoming the voice of a generation with films like Fast Times at Ridgemont High, Say Anything, Jerry Maguire, and Almost Famous. Almost Famous. I love that movie. In fact, I like it.
Well, that's the movie. The main star is actually playing a version of Cameron Crowe. Cameron Crowe, before he ever made movies, was one of the best writers Rolling Stone magazine ever had.
Okay.
to this
Yeah,
day.
man.
Yeah, well, that's an interesting thing also. I tell you what, there's it's so convoluted with all these bands, all their contacts, the people they know, the people they run with. Dr. Insomnia, not according to Michael. Okay. Let's see. Eric Schultz, I saw you on YouTube a couple of months ago. I am Hop Frog. Hey, Dave, where you been, brother? Got
Hi,
a few
Dave.
messages from you, but I haven't seen you in a while.
Always good to see him. Yeah.
Always good. Always good. Always good. Yeah. Miss Dave when he's gone.
Oh no, I
So,
love Dave. I've loved being on panels with him and everything. He's a good guy.
yeah. No, he's a good guy. Does a good job.
Yep.
Okay, Rockin' Robin Bird. The Wilson sisters took in grunge bands such as AIC under their wings. It's interesting. I was a fan of grunge.
Who
Still
did?
am.
Who did? Royce. Unfortunately, I twisted my back when my stream went blank today, so I'm up and back. Yeah, but who did he say influenced Alice in Chains?
Well, Rockin' Robin Bird said the Wilson sisters took in grunge bands such as Alice in Chains under their wings.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, no,
Cool.
I thought so.
Yeah.
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 Okay, so Pat Paradise Rock Station says that then a different Whiteheart would start in Nashville and get signed in the 80s. Different band from Nashville. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Chris. You were about to say something.
Oh, I don't know. We're talking about the band itself. I don't recall in any of the biographies I heard that they were actually called Whiteheart originally. So I don't know.
It was in between their first name and then they shortened it to Hart, as I understand it. Yeah.
Well, so that was before Ann joined, when it was just Nancy at first.
Right. I believe they were fully Hart before, because they formed in 1967 and Nancy Ann joined in 1970, from what I understand. And then a year later, maybe, for Nancy?
Sure. So whatever, because they were touring a little bit.
Might have been longer. Yeah.
Seattle and then Montana and a little bit, and then Nancy was in college, and then when she graduated college, she joined the band.
Right.
Yeah. But
sounds about right.
The first time the band kind of imploded, it was Nancy was in love with the manager, and then she fell in love with the drummer at the same time during that relationship. And there was it was almost similar to Fleetwood Mac. Like all the relationships started imploding, and that was the initial change of the band. And the Magic Man song, the story behind that was
you mean Nancy, she was torn between two lovers?
Yeah, but the song Magic Man came from she said it was the first time she ever felt basically as the song says, and she was ever, and then she said now I was watching an interview with them on musicians or whatever it's called. She was saying she won't play that song now because she's not even the same person. She goes, the magic ran out pretty quick.
Well, it tends to fade.
Yeah.
Whiteheart was shortened just like Silver Beetles was soon dumbed down.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I don't know if I've ever heard of the Silver Beetles.
Oh yeah, that was and there was even a small section where it was Johnny and the Silver Beetles, and then Long John Silver and the Silver Beetles, Long John Silver and the Beatles. They went through about 32 changes, it seems like, there for a while. Okay. Paul even took on they took on pseudonyms, and John later said, well, I never took on pseudonyms. And he goes, what was Long John Silver and the Silver Beetles? You were Long John Silver, dude. So, but anyway, yeah.
I think shorter names are better anyway. Just like Grand Funk Railroad, shortened to Grand Funk.
Yeah.
I never liked that, Dan. Right. I like Chicago Transit Authority, Grand Funk Railroad. It's so damn 60s, man. It's got, yeah. You shorten it, it's like, yeah, well, now we're the new Grand Funk for the younger kids. Or at least I felt that way when they did
Right.
that, you know. Yeah. I like the artsy fartsy name. I
Well, I
like
wanna
Sergeant
throw
Pepper's
something out.
Lonely Hearts Club Band, you know.
Right. Yeah, I like that too. I want to throw
Jefferson
something out
Airplane.
here. Everybody watching, whether you're watching now or you're going to be watching later, please hit that like or thumbs up button. Very important. Doesn't cost anything, obviously, but what it does is it helps get the show distributed out there to a wider audience. The algorithm looks a little harder and looks a little longer for your audience to put your show in front of, so people have an opportunity to say yes or no. So we always appreciate it when we get a lot of thumbs up or likes. 50 is always a milestone. It kind of comes in groups of 50. Not always easy to do. We've done it many times in a row, but not lately. So anyway, but it all helps. Hit that thumbs up button. And now, one more thing, whether you're watching now or will be watching in the future, if you're not already a subscriber, please go ahead and smash that subscribe button. Smash the subscribe button, and if you want the notification bell, so you can have a one-time notification when new shows are coming out. You know, we do a live podcast every Sunday. This is it. Sunday at 6:30 p.m. And we always cover the rock and roll topics, and everybody has a good time. We have a live chat, a very friendly live chat. They welcome everybody with open arms. So anyway, I just thought I would get that out. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Thank you so much, guys. All right,
Yep.
so let's go on. Okay, so Nancy wrote the music for Jerry Maguire. Jerry Maguire, a song "Say Anything," almost famous, plus Crow's other film Vanilla Sky. Oh, that was a crazy show, and Elizabethtown. Okay, though they became parents to twin sons, Curtis and William, in 2000, Nancy told people that I think our relationship became more about the work rather than a real relationship, and we lost track of each other inside the work. The couple split in 2008, and of course, Tom Cruise. I don't know if this is worth bringing up, but he gave Nancy a personal tour of the Scientology Celebrity Center. Never heard of that. His connection to the controversial religion is much quieter now, but at the time he left Jerry Maguire and Vanilla Sky film, the movie's star, Tom Cruise, was one of the Church Scientology's most famous faces. He gave Nancy and Crow a private tour of the church's Los Angeles Celebrity Enclave. Okay. So
Paul
another
McCartney
thing,
also wrote the song Vanilla Sky for that film as well.
oh, he did.
Yes,
nice.
he did.
Well, you know, in '79, Heart opened for Van Halen on their World Vacation Tour. I like that. Though they were no shrinking violets themselves, Ann and Nancy were shocked at the Van Halen brothers' hard partying ways, okay? Especially before they took the stage. Soon enough, Alex and Eddie, whom Nancy told shock Howard Stern were demonstrative in the first place, suggested the foursome get funky. Sounds like a publicist's dream, Nancy admitted, before confirming that she and Ann turned the Van Halens down. Okay, all right. You know, after we have a little session here with the group, the chat, and you know, panelists, of course, I'm going to get into the Heart doing the Stairway to Heaven song of Led Zeppelin's at the Kennedy Honors. Okay, I've got some things I want to say about that. So, you guys have any comments on what we've talked about so far, or whatever else?
No. Just got a few more fun facts along the way, but
Yeah. Okay. Good. Yeah. I've got a few of those too. Okay, Eric Schultz, artsy fartsy name, Quicksilver Messenger Service.
Yeah, that was another one but Royce was talking. I didn't want to interrupt him, but I was so tempted to Quicksilver Messenger Service, a perfect example of cool names.
That was my first concert.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, was it really?
They were great.
Yeah. With canned Quicksilver Messenger Service with canned heat. First
Oh,
concert.
nice.
Oh, with Canned Heat. Yeah, I've seen Canned
New-
Heat.
How about
I think-
New
I think I
Riders
saw
of the
Canned Heat
Purple
twice.
Sage?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Well, my younger brother Richie Eddings is in the chat. Hey, how you doing, Rich?
Hey, Richie.
Hello, Richard.
Good to see you. Okay, we're gonna pop back to the topic here a little bit. Okay, now we're gonna talk about Led Zeppelin. Led Zeppelin's, well, they're sitting in the audience watching. Hart is doing Stairway to Heaven, and I've watched it probably 6 or 7 times. Absolutely fantastic. Okay, so they were doing Stairway to Heaven, and we had, John Paul Jones, Robert Plant, Jimmy Page, all sitting together watching, and none other than Jason Bonham down on stage drumming for him. John
Yeah.
Bonham's son. Okay, so all right, so what did Robert Plant think of all this? What he thought of Hart's Stairway cover? He said Led Zeppelin was deeply moved and impressed by Hart's 2012 Kennedy Center honors performance of Stairway to Heaven. Robert said Robert was visibly emotional. In fact, I'm going to put a picture up right now that beyond any shadow of any doubt, Robert was visually emotional. Okay. Even crying, and the camera keeps going up there and showing that he was.
Now look at that picture of Robert Royce and tell me he's not biting his teeth, going, "God, I hate this song."
Well, no, I know. Here's after being emotional, even sobbing, he later told the Wilson sisters they did it justice. Nothing. What he said is noting he had grown to hate the song just due to poor covers that he's had to watch over the years.
Yeah.
So anyway, I wanna pop back in here for a minute, and let's take a look at Robert. I mean, yeah, he was really emotional. I'm sure it was a whole lot of things coming together at once, and but Hart really did that justice. They did. Have all you guys seen that?
Oh yeah, and it's not the first time they did Led Zeppelin justice either.
Oh no.
Yeah.
That they could kick the shit out of some Led Zeppelin material. Matter of fact, I can't think of a better band that covered Led Zeppelin material than Hart.
For doing covers than
Yeah,
Hart.
that band was born for it.
Now, was that the entire
Wow.
band, Hart, or was this Ann and Nancy Wilson with other musicians?
Well, it was the new Hart, but it had Ann and Nancy and then Jason on drums. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody else had been around maybe since the 80s. I don't know. Have they had a third incarnation? Like I said, I lost interest in them buying new albums and stuff after Dog and Butterfly for me. But God, what a great 4 albums.
Well,
To me, I think the most emotional part of that entire song was when the curtain drew back and there's the choir back there, and they're all wearing the bowler hats. That just
Yeah.
John Bonham.
right,
John
right.
Bonham used to wear those hats.
Yeah.
Right.
well, they
Quite
were.
a tribute.
They asked the 2 sisters in one of the videos or interviews, what was their first musical concerts in that, and Ann being the older one, she said her first musical experience was watching the Beatles on Ed Sullivan, and then she was asked, Nancy was asked the same. She said the first time she saw a concert was Led Zeppelin, and it was the.
Oh wow.
But she said they went together, but they didn't even know what it was. They said in the middle of the Lemon song, they left. And then she said she heard Zeppelin 4, put it all together, and then she was going, "Man, can we go back to that concert? We won't leave this time. That's not so bad."
Yeah, I want everybody to know, Chris. I got to tell you guys this. Everybody in the chat too. I did a video I've got out there, and I think the title is why Hart's Wilson sisters left in the middle of a Led Zeppelin concert. They kept saying, "Oh, he's so suggestive," talking about Robert Plant.
That's probably the same.
No, it is the same one.
story.
It's the same story. Like I said, I did a fun video on that. If you guys want to go check it out.
I'll have to.
Anyway, go ahead, Chris.
Oh, it was just they used to play. They said as of 1971, when Zeppelin 4 had just come out, they said their sets, they used to play all kinds of Zeppelin songs, especially for their encores. They said at one point they had like a 25-minute medley that they used to play, just mixing a whole bunch of Zeppelin songs together.
Yeah.
That's
One of the
totally cool.
commenters brought that out. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it was
cool.
pretty cool.
That is very cool.
And one of their songs was actually written by Bernie Taupin, one of the early ones too.
No, I hadn't heard that. That's
Yeah,
interesting.
the
I hadn't
song
either.
"These Dreams"
Oh,
was Bernie Taupin wrote it. I mean, he's the one who wrote for Elton John.
yeah.
And it was actually originally written and offered to Stevie Nicks, but she turned it down. And then Hart probably did a better job than Stevie Nicks would have done on it, anyways.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, Bernie Taupin. I mean, him and Elton were joined at the hip. They were co-partners in the writing.
Oh, yeah.
Taupin
Well, the
pretty
girls-
much did the lyrics, and Elton pretty much did the piano, the music. But there was collaboration back and forth on both parts.
Well, the girls they said they were so excited to actually be able to work with Bernie Taupin and everything. They said, well, the fact that Stevie Nicks turned it down was our win, you know, like
Right.
her loss, our win. And then but they were saying that they had always loved Elton John's songs because of the way the lyrics and the music came together. So
Right. Yeah.
I noticed that
Yeah,
they give a
I've
lot of
seen-
credit. I mean, for the stuff that's thrown at them, they stand tall and they still give out credit. They're not you know, like, they don't act like they're better than all of their fans or the people when they get criticism. I mean, obviously, as you guys were saying earlier, all the stuff that they worked through, they're pretty strong. And I think they've kept their integrity. I mean, in the 80s, they got taken over by the record company and all their videos. Like, if you notice the videos, for the most part, they were always showing Nancy, and Ann was usually obscured by some kind of background or wearing some big costume, so they didn't show her actual body.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's from the waist up too.
Yeah, from the shoulders up for a while.
Yeah.
And that was all the stuff they said. It got to the point. That's why the second breakdown, like after all those hits and into the 90s and that, and then that's when they broke up again.
Oh, wow. Well, anyway, that's totally cool. Yeah, you mentioned Elton John. I saw him twice in concert. I was a teenager when I saw him in Las Vegas, older teen, 17, 18. And funny guy. He came out there with these gigantic sunglasses and changed that pair for another pair of gigantic sunglasses for every new song. He must have changed glasses like 20 times.
Did he walk
What a
out in
character.
a duck suit while he was at it?
Yeah, I saw that.
I can't say for sure. But anyway, it was a good show.
There was
And then-
nothing Elton wouldn't wear. You couldn't.
And then-
You couldn't invent the
Rob,
most
he
embarrassing
didn't care.
costume in the planet, and all you'd have to do is dare him to wear it, and he would have strapped that sucker on and gone out and did a great show.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Well, you know, I also saw him.
For
Benny,
what
I saw
everybody
him.
complains about him. Sorry.
Well, it's interesting because a whole lot of his personality, he's an introvert in
Oh,
many
yeah.
ways.
There's
Very
a lot-
much an
there's
introvert.
A lot of people like that, you know.
Yeah. But when he gets on stage, it's like he's born to it. You know, I was kind of, because I had early stage work with my dad's band. That's kind of me too. You know, it's like I don't get, stage fright or nervous before stream or anything. It's just because that's like a playground to me, and with
Right,
Elton
right.
John. But see, I'm not an introvert. I'm the extrovert at home that you see me on screen. And for Elton John to play that fast and easy with a crowd, and his own personal personality and everything, I've
Right.
always been impressed by him. I am a major fan of his, and some of his later work is good too, but of his classic period with Bernie Taupin. All those albums from the very first Elton John album that had your song on it, all the way, well, certainly through Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, maybe a couple after that, Then he started getting like wearing his politics even on his singles, and I started going, okay, that's enough. You know me in politics, Royce.
Yeah.
So
Oh no, no, it's not.
I
It's not
kind of
just
started,
you. It's not just
yeah,
you, Michael. It's us. It's banned on this
yeah,
show. You
yeah.
know.
Absolutely.
So he would put out, songs about causes
Yeah.
and
Right.
stuff like that, and I go, okay, this is I'm not. The last time I kind of bought a cause was, either instant karma or power to the people, and shortly after that, I started thinking those kind of songs were a little bit long in the tooth for me,
Right.
how well would this wear in a decade kind of thing, but
Hey,
that's me.
guys, I got to do a special shout out here. We have somebody, and their name is up on the screen right now, Pat Paradise Rock Station. Now, I could be wrong, but I don't know that I've ever seen you before tonight on the show. So I just want everybody to say hi to Pat, and
Hi,
let's just
Pat.
let him know
Well,
how glad we are that he's here, and we welcome him, and please come back. Yeah,
Yeah, it's a cool place to hang out.
yeah, we appreciate you being here, brother. We really do. I needed to let you know that. The only other thing I want to shout out right now is I got a couple of super chats last week, and we always like to shout it out. Michael Nolan came in with $10, and Michael
Thank you.
Boswell came in twice swinging the deuce hammer. Thank you guys, appreciate it.
You're welcome, Royce. And by the way, don't get rid of the stream that didn't go off. Otherwise, you won't get the super thanks that I sent you on that one. I made that mistake once and lost all the super thanks. So you want to
No,
keep that.
no, wait. What do you mean about that?
Well, I sent you a super thanks when you first got up tonight, right? And then you had to shut that one down.
Oh, gotcha.
Right. So keep
Okay,
it. Don't delete it from your YouTube studio, and you'll still
okay,
maintain. You'll still
okay,
retain the super thanks I sent you on there. I made
okay.
that
Good.
mistake once, and I didn't want you to lose it. So
No, I appreciate that. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, right on. Thank you. These little tips make a difference. Elton John is a fantastic performer. I saw him 3 or 4 times, 90s and 2000s. I think my first Elton John tickets in Vegas, if I didn't sneak into the Las Vegas Convention Center because we had a secret door, then I paid $6 or $7. Then you'd think 40 years later, 40 years later at the Forum at Caesar's Palace, you might be talking real money. Well, out of the blue, Caesars, who owns a dozen casinos back there, sent us free tickets to that, me and Betty. And we hadn't been to Vegas in years. But we used to play with our cards, when you played the slots, and you're earning points. And we rarely paid for a room back in those days. And anyway, whatever. But anyway, Elton John it was a great concert, the $1 Million Piano at the Forum in Vegas. It was like nothing you've ever seen before. And you would understand if you saw it why they called it the $1 Million Piano, because it was a huge screen behind Elton. If he was doing Rocket Man, it's a big celestial scene going overhead. Well, that big band that runs around the side of the piano had that same scene moving on the screen, moving across his piano, no matter what it was. I mean, it was perfect too. It was just
Pre-Las Vegas Fear.
yeah, maybe that's where they got the idea.
Well, I
And he had-
think that's the baby technology. It sounds like from what you're describing, that's to match a backing screen. That's a lot of what the Las Vegas does, but on steroids, of course.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, and they charge a pretty penny for it, but I guess they must have billions of dollars into that thing.
Oh, well, well over $2.4 billion, which was about $1.5 billion over what they thought it would cost to build. Yeah.
Oh, you're kidding me.
Mm-hmm.
That much over budget. Wow.
I'm pretty close on those guesstimates. Those are guesstimates, but I recall recovering it, and those numbers seem to come to mind.
Right. Well, Chris Elliott, Four Horsemen, Chris Elliott, thank you so much. Anyone who hasn't hit the like button, please do so now. And while you're in a button-hitting mood, smash that subscribe button, folks.
For sure.
We'll be eternally grateful for you. We love new
Yeah,
subscribers.
anybody out there from the tribe, I strongly encourage. Royce is the brother channel. And of course, Dan is another brother channel to my channel. So if anybody's from the tribe, especially you new members, we've had a ton of you. Please subscribe to Royce's channel. All right, you'll be doing me a solid. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you, Michael. Thanks
Absolutely.
to everybody. Well, I want to say this now. We were talking about Led Zeppelin's Stairway to Heaven being performed by Heart, and we talked about Robert Plant, and what he had to say about that. But now we'll talk about Jimmy Page, and if I'm not mistaken, I might have a Jimmy Page picture. I'm mistaken. I don't. Okay.
Whatever picture you would have thrown up, Royce, it would have been him going, God, I love this song.
Well, and you know what? When you watch him on TV while that's being done, he's just beaming. He's smiling. I mean, he really enjoyed it. But anyway, so Paige was highly impressed, telling Ann and Nancy Wilson, "You played that great, just lovely," as noted in a recent episode of the Eddie Trunk podcast. This is where the conversation was taking place. Well, how did John Paul Jones feel about it? He also praised the performance, telling them, "Wow, you did a great job," according to a recent episode of Eddie Trunk podcast. Sounds like Eddie Trunk's getting a little bit of business here. Okay.
So, he's a big name in podcasting.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, big name.
Okay,
yeah.
So what were other factors contributed to the success of doing this amazing cover? Okay. Well, first of all, the emotional weight. The performance featured a large choir and orchestra, which provided powerful cinematic sound. Okay. Then I mentioned this a little bit ago. Jason Bonham, the inclusion of Jason Bonham, son of the late drummer John Bonham, on drums added a deep personal layer, connecting the performance directly to the band's history. So that's a really cool thing. Okay, so vocals, and Alan Wilson's vocal range was perfect for the difficult song, which contributed to the band's positive reaction. And I can see that too. The performance is considered a standout moment in rock history. I never thought about it like that, but I've seen it about 6 times and I absolutely love it. It is a standout, with the members of Led Zeppelin in awe of the tribute. Okay. So now I want to talk about, I think Chris has some surprising facts. And I have a few other things similar to that. Okay, so when the sisters Ann and Nancy Wilson joined a little-known band called Army in Vancouver, British Columbia, it wasn't long before their efforts turned the group into what we know today, Heart. Their debut album, Dreamboat Annie, was released in Canada in 1975, closely followed by a U.S. release in 1976 to much acclaim, okay, producing hits like Crazy on You, Magic Man, and I like those songs. Those are great songs. With such a strong start, anyone who voiced doubts over the band was quickly biting their tongue. After all, who doesn't immediately know the lyrics to Barracuda when that first iconic guitar riff starts playing? Absolutely, okay. So let's see. Now, Chris, you had some little-known facts or something you wanted to talk about too, and whoever else.
Yeah, I had mentioned a couple of them, but the other one, as I'm going to say, is the one song from 1977. I just blanked on what album it's from, but "Love Alive." You got to keep your love alive. That song, that was actually
magazine.
So, okay, but Dan,
well,
you
let
mentioned
me
earlier
just see about that. Okay.
About
that's the 1977 album, anyway. Magazine was
okay from that one. Then. But how the sisters and everything, like how they got along, whatever. That song was actually written about those two getting along and how they just got along.
We have a question asking the panel which is their favorite album. My response would be, you can't really beat Dreamboat Annie. However, A very close second, Dog and Butterfly. So out of the four I like, it's the first and the last of those, that block. But I love every album. So I'm having trouble. For just impact and everything, I guess it's like for impact, I love Led Zeppelin 1, even though I don't rank it as high as other Led Zeppelin out. But in my heart of hearts, Led Zeppelin 1, you just can't freaking beat it. Dreamboat Annie kind of does that for me. You know, that was look, and I love the cover, the girls, what was 75, I was 20 years old. That's that's not even that's still a teenage boy. I was married, but I guarantee you 20-year-old Michael was still a teenage boy, and I go, yeah, my kind of rock star, know, and I liked them for their sexiness as well. But I wouldn't have. There's lots of sexy girl singers and performers that I can't stand. Madonna, I just can't stand them. There's nothing about them I like or anything. So just being sexy isn't good enough. But it sure, guys, it sure was a bonus when you hear that freaking thunderous sound and you look at the album, you go down, gotta get that up. Ooh, and they're cute too. Wow.
Right.
Yeah.
I think my favorite album is Little Queen, because that was the first album I ever heard by heart.
Okay.
And
Barracuda's a monster too.
Yeah, I was in the military then and didn't really get to hear a whole lot of music, but I remember I was on board ship the first time I ever heard Little Queen. I said, So of course, then I went back and saw their first album and was a fan after that.
Right. Wow.
Yeah. And you know what? That's what I also would name that album artwork as, remember the time, Dan? I was living in Santa Rosa, California, Sonoma County, 60 miles north of San Francisco. Then we had Marin County. It was like a slightly richer group of people living in Marin County. And they had their what was that called? All the fairs, a stage. They'd all dress up like,
Scarborough Fair?
No, I'm thinking the fairs that they would have, the medieval fairs. And everybody would go to these things, pay top dollar, and they dress up like Robin Hood or a tavern wench, right? Now look at that album cover.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It perfectly captures 1975, folks. It really does.
What did you say those fairs were called? I remember those.
That was Renaissance fairs. Yeah, and we used to have out at Black Point in Marin. I think that was what it was called, Black Point. Anyway, for decades it was out there, and it was this little sliver. You had a lot of flatlands coming off the bay, the North Bay, right? And so you got a lot of grassy areas and everything. But then you'd get these hills, and this one had lush foliage and trees and everything. And so they used it for that, and that was their tag every single year. All the fairs a stage. Because everybody came to perform. They would have jousting contest.
I know. Yeah.
Right. Entire knights in armor in real armor, man. It was cool. Armor. It was really cool. Yeah.
I knew I had some friends that were fanatics. They never missed it. I actually never made it to one.
Well, to me, it's very, very Led Zeppelin. The whole idea of a Renaissance fair is very Led Zeppelin. Think of all their songs. Man, you could just play Led Zeppelin at a Renaissance fair and rock your way to heaven, man.
Right.
Good Lord.
Right. Well, let me say this. Okay, this is some more from my interesting facts list here. Okay, speaking of Barracuda, in a 2019 interview with Gear Factor, Nancy Wilson recalled that the signature riff that opens that hit song was actually borrowed from another group, Nazareth, who toured with in Europe and covered a Joni Mitchell song with a similar sound called This Flight Tonight. Needless to say, Nazareth was none too pleased upon hearing the popular Heart release.
Well,
That's
Okay.
interesting because the guitarist for Heart, not Nancy, I forget his name. He says he wrote that riff, and he's always contested that. He said he did it.
Oh, really?
For Barracuda.
Okay.
Yes, he did.
That's very interesting.
I
Well, I
have a
remember-
screenshot of it somewhere, but I'm using the device I could access it on, but I have a screenshot covering that story. Yeah.
Now I heard
Okay.
Nancy actually say in an interview where they would take a lot of this music that they were inspired by, and they'd take little pieces of it to create an original. So I don't know how original that is if you're taking pieces, but it's from inspiration. I don't know if they're direct riffs or not, but you know.
Well,
But-
you know what? My wife, Kimberly, just before my stream, I was telling her what I was going to cover and the genius of Paul McCartney's writing and stuff. And she said what I've said to her many times, and she just threw it right back at me. She goes, a good artist borrows material, ideas. A great artist steals them. You know, but then reconfigure. But they can't just outright steal them.
Yeah,
Ask
yeah.
George
Right,
Harrison
right.
and My Sweet Lord and Phil
Yeah.
Spector and all of that. So it can't be that. It can't be a ripoff. But you can freak it. See, you got to steal it and then own it.
And
You
call
know?
it
Right,
and call
right.
it and call it inspiration. You know.
Yeah, there can
Yeah,
be
right.
no connection, even
No.
though it's a complete thief that took it and reinvented it. How do you like my Frankenstein creation? You know, I love it.
Right.
I knew
right.
there was a reason why I married her. She's pretty smart.
Yeah.
That's great, Michael. So
Yeah.
anyway, you know, a Rolling Stone ad broke their relationship with Canadian label Mushroom. Okay,
Yeah.
it began with
Oh.
an attempt to negotiate the band's royalty rate. That always leads to chaos. Leading
No
to the
more
label
shrooms?
claiming Hart was. Yeah, right. Claiming Hart was nothing but another one-hit wonder. It ended when Mushroom bought a full-page National Enquirer style ad in the Rolling Stone magazine that used a similar image of the cover of Dreamboat Annie, combined with the suggestive text, "It was only our first time."
Yeah.
The band was furious at the implications of the caption. Okay, so
Yeah,
they may-
Nancy
they may
wrote,
have been-
or Anne wrote the lyrics to that. Like she walked right backstage right after that, and she wrote the lyrics right on the spot, just about to Barracuda.
Right,
That was the
right.
Barracuda song.
right.
She said, "I was so pissed off. That's probably the most pissed off I've ever been writing a song." Yeah. And she's
Right.
in the words, they all said it.
Well, you know, when band manager Mike Fisher discovered he was to be drafted by the U.S. Army to be sent to Vietnam, the group promptly moved to Vancouver, Canada. Now, is that something that you mentioned earlier, Chris?
Yeah,
No,
like
okay,
they had
But
moved
sure.
up there, and
yeah.
that's where you get the Canadian connection. A lot of it.
Well,
too,
no,
right?
and not only that, there's a few other connections part of this. Shortly after the band name was changed from Army to Whiteheart after a Herman Hesse novel before finally settling on Heart in 1973. Coincidence? We'll let you decide.
Well, that was only because Steppenwolf was already taking another Hess novel.
That's funny.
Herman Hess wrote, didn't he? Wasn't he the one that wrote Steppenwolf as well? I think, if memory serves.
I don't.
I'm not sure about. I'm not sure one way or the other.
Yeah. I thought, let me try, continue. I'm going to look that
Okay,
up. I'll see.
okay. So
Yeah.
So women who rock. Society's narrow opinion of a woman's body isn't new. And sadly, Ann Wilson was no exception. In the face of the band's manager and male bandmates Insisting Nancy convince Ann to lose weight, Nancy refused. According to Evelyn McDonald, in her 2018 book, Women Who Rock, Nancy instead would stand nose to nose with her sister, repeating, "Hello, hello, come back, come here, come here. I'm with you. Look at me. Keep looking at me." This helped Ann overcome body shaming. It's crazy. Overcome body shaming, related panic attacks. Wow. And chronic stage fright. Wow, that's crazy.
By the way, yeah, he did write Steppenwolf along with Siddhartha as well. Okay, so yeah.
Listen, Dawson Walters says the Keith Richards Fair with cigarettes and Jack Daniels.
Yeah.
Isn't that the truth? Like
you were mentioning.
Well, thank you, Dawson. Thank you.
Somebody, I think it was Pat mentioned in the earlier in the chat about the love mongers, and what I was saying, like when they broke up.
How could they fail?
Yeah. Well, no, because when after in '97, when they got tired of, they finally got away from the studios, or and the record companies.
Right.
They started the love mongers as their own thing. They put the album, everything out of their own dime. And what they did, they purposely started going back to small clubs and just getting back to grassroots. And then eventually when they started Heart again, this goes back to what you were saying, Dan, and Royce as well, about different alternative bands and grunge bands that they worked with.
Yeah.
Well, in 2002, they went on the road with a new lineup, including Alice in Chains bassist Mike Inez. And then in 2003, also in 2003, Gilby Clarke, ex Guns N' Roses.
Gilby Clarke. Yeah, my son-in-law toured Argentina with him. I have a couple of the cases, the equipment cases that say Gilby Clarke on them, down at my storage shed. Anyway,
in 2019, Inez left to reform Alice in Chains, so he was with them for quite a while.
Yeah. Wow, that's great. Look at John Zarris's comment on screen here. Someone had already taken my ass, so that name was gone too. I love that.
I love it.
Thanks, John Zarris. Rockin' Robin, instead of climbing a palm tree, he just he jousts. He jousts. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Joseph Blue. Keith, quit smoking.
No, Keith quit smoking.
Oh, he quit
Keith
smoking.
Richards.
Probably added about another 25 years. I Am One of Us says, when you're 90, you have to quit smoking. Laughing out loud. Isn't that the truth? Thanks, I Am One of Us. Good to see you here, brother. Really good to see you here. And
Always.
I appreciate everybody that comes to these chats, supports.
Sure do.
And comes in and has fun with us.
Well, they're the main star of the show. We're the jibber jabbering, and they're, in the meantime, they've got entire other conversations going on that we can't even keep up with,
No, we can't keep up with them.
And that's the show. People who don't type in comments, they're watching us jammer, and they're watching these folks and their comments, man. That's the show.
Somebody's talking about climbing palm trees.
You're welcome.
When I was in the military, stationed over in Guam, there's palm trees everywhere. So when you're new to the island, the first thing you got to do is climb a palm tree to pick a coconut. And I recommend when you do that, wear long pants, because I did it. I did it in shorts and paid the price for it.
Yeah, a little bit of chafing.
Oh yeah.
Well, guys, Heart's studio album covers spanning from 75 to 2016 trace their evolution from folk rock to arena rock. Key iconic covers in chronological order include Dreamboat Annie, and that happens to be my favorite album too. Little Queen, right close there. Dog and Butterfly, another good one. And the self-titled album Heart. That's a good one too. And Bad Animals. Okay, so you got a bunch. I like them all. Here's the chronological order of Heart's studio album covers. Heart has released 16 studio albums throughout their career. beginning with Dreamboat Annie in 1975. So I'm just going to do a quick pass by on these, okay? Dreamboat Annie, 75. Little Queen, I think, Dan, you said that was your number one album, 77. Famous for the Barracuda era. Magazine, with the one I have right here behind me.
Another great cover.
Yeah, often features a stylized photograph of the band in early, somewhat controversial album artwork releases. Okay, that's a mouthful. Dog and Butterfly, 78. The cover art depicts a serene, surreal landscape reflecting the dual-sided nature of the album, rock and acoustic. And you got, what is it, BB Lestrange in 1980. Shows a close-up portrait of the band, shifting away from pastoral imagery of previous albums. And you have, what is it, Private Audition in 1982. Features a minimalist cover, often showcasing a simple, sharp image of band members. Passion Works in 83, a very distinct stylized 80s graphic art design with a prominent, colorful logo. Heart, self-titled album, 1985, their massive commercial comeback, featuring a simple white background with the iconic bold heart logo. Very nice. Okay. Bad Animals features in 1987, features a striking, moody, stylized image embracing the arena rock look. Brigade, 1990, known for the band's polished 90s aesthetics, often featuring dramatic, high contrast imagery. Desire Walks On, 1993, features a more intimate, photo-driven cover focusing on the Wilson sisters. And Jupiter's Darling, 2004, a return to a more artistic, almost cosmic themed cover illustration. Red Velvet Car, 2010, a simpler, modern photographic cover reflecting a more acoustic and personal sound. Fanatic, 2012, features a bold, modern, high-energy graphic cover design. Beautiful Broken, 2016, often features a moody, artistic, and somewhat gritty photographic cover. Okay, that's the albums there. All right. So, anybody have anything else they want to add? I mean, what is it? It's 7:51. So, we're coming up on an hour and a half.
11 o'clock.
Yeah, 11 o'clock. So if anybody really wants to throw
yeah.
some closing statements out there, we can close the show down, folks. But I want to hear everything you guys want to say, though.
Well,
I'm not trying to rush anybody.
As far as I'm concerned, I was a big fan of Heart from the very first album all the way up to Baby Lestrange. And I don't know what happened after that. I don't know what happened after that. I just didn't really hear them, or it's not that I lost interest in them. It's just that I don't think I really heard their music anymore.
It just wasn't getting the airplay. Yeah.
Yeah.
That happens a lot too. Eric Schultz, Royce, you keep the pace going well. Always pleasing narrative style. Thank you so much, Eric. I appreciate you saying that. Piccolino the Cat, that's so cool, rockin'. We've got Jay Cliban. The Wilson sisters are formidable rock and rollers. They run the gamut musically, and I live that they're ferociously literate. Wouldn't want to get in an argument with them.
Oh, that's for sure.
Wilson, my God, Jay Cliban. That's great.
I mean, they survived in the music industry and made it, as a sister duo. So yeah, I wouldn't want to get into an argument with them. How many people you think they put in their place along the way?
Yeah, that's like I said earlier. All the things they had to deal with, they didn't hide in the corner and cower away. They fought their way to stay relevant, because there were so many elements out there trying to, with mainly the industry,
right?
Just trying to change them. It's because first of all, the industry didn't know what to do with them, because they were songwriters, they're singers, they're female, they're performing on stage, they look good, and so, a lot of times they were the whole package, and industry, wanted to control a lot of that, and they wouldn't allow it. They wanted to do their own thing.
Yeah, well, that was part of their initial imploding was that some of the guys, they said in the band, not only were the relationships breaking up, but the guys were kind of getting jealous of the girls getting all the attention.
Yeah.
Well, and they were also tired
Yeah.
of not getting writing credit because they had a lot to do with those songs, you know,
Yeah, and
coming out
that's-
the way they did.
Yeah, and the Wilson sisters were definitely strict about the songwriting. They were about as far as the credits go, they were very strict about that. Maybe too strict, you know.
Maybe too strict. A lot of people got burnt when it came to writing credits. You hear that all the time. Okay, Heart's Dog and Butterfly were primarily written by sisters Ann and Nancy and collab with Sue Ennis. Several tracks also
That's the writer I was talking
Okay.
about before that
okay.
they brought on for that album, and they started writing with that individual. So it was a female.
That's good. Yes.
Good.
Yes.
So yeah, Sue Ennis.
Sue,
Yep,
Sue
that's the
Ennis,
one.
Yeah. Several tracks also featured songwriting contribution from band members Roger Fisher and Howard Leese, two of the originals, along with the sisters. Anyway, that's all great stuff there. And my damn giant moron thumbs at work. I've got a pair of those. Lately, it keeps changing my words, and I catch it sometimes after it's gone.
Yeah.
Gonna sign out now. Hell of a stream, Royce. Thanks, Horseman. Till next time.
Thanks, John.
Drift,
We
thank you
appreciate
so
it, brother.
much, brother. We really appreciate you being here. Chris Elliott, take care, Johnsers. Yeah, last chance to maybe hit that like button. We're going to be signing off, and if you're not already a subscriber, whether you're watching now or watching in the future, tomorrow, a week from now, a month from now, hit that subscribe button. We have hundreds of music videos for you to come and watch on the channel. Right now, I just wish I could stop coughing. So thank you all so much.
Yeah.
Thanks, panel. Appreciate you guys so much.
If anybody was wondering, I know that's the only Heart album I have. All this stuff is their greatest hits, right? So,
Oh, that's the greatest hits. Well, if you're gonna have one,
I mean, I've when I grew up, my uncle and my dad and everybody had all kinds of Heart in their album collections. So.
okay.
No, it's a good compilation. That's great
Yeah, it is.
compilation.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's like the Red and the Blue albums, right? You get a lot of
Yeah,
stuff.
if you just want, I highly recommend it. If you just want a great C sampler,
Yeah.
let me. It's been a while since I listened to them. I'll get that compilation, and then if that doesn't whet your appetite to go and get the original albums for deep cuts, nothing will.
Right.
And
Nothing
there's even
will,
a couple of live cuts on there too. So
No,
Yep.
nice.
Yeah, there is.
We like the live cuts. Lots of
Yeah,
fun.
isn't one of those rock and roll on that one, as I recall? Is that by? I thought that.
Straight On acoustic, Dog and Butterfly acoustic, Barracuda live. Well, I guess that's the only one. The two acoustic versions are live, and Barracuda is a live electric version.
Okay. All right. I stand corrected. All right. Good.
Well, okay. So thank you, everybody. Thank you, panel. Thank you, chat. Thank you, everybody that's going to be watching in the future. Love you all. Appreciate you all. And that's what's happening in Royce's world today, folks. And we are going to sign off. Yes, we are.
Night, folks.
Okay. Good night, everybody. Might do a little outro here real quick before everybody's gone. No, wrong one. Okay, let's see.